He wasn't supposed to get here. He was supposed to be another kid swallowed by the street, another junkie with a spoon and a vein, another ghost on the corner, another chalk outline the rain would wash away. But he clawed his way out through the boxing gym. He learned fast. He learned mean. His jab was a hammer, cruel, sudden, as heavy as Sonny Liston's. When it landed, the world slammed shut like a door in your face. And he didn't carry the most manly of colors into the ring. Pink on the birth certificate, pink stitched into the robe, pink bleeding across the trunks. Should have been a joke, but there was nothing funny about. Pinklon Thomas Jr. was born on February 10, 1958, in Pontiac, Michigan, a middle-class kid in a devout Baptist household, the kind of family where Sunday mornings meant pressed shirts and polished shoes, and weeknights meant chores and curfews. His father, Pinkerton Pinklon Thomas Sr., had already lived 3 lives before his son ever laced a glove, picking cotton in the South, sweating in the coal mines, then enlisting in the Army, and finally planting roots in Pontiac. His mother worked as a domestic, steady and strict, both parents doing everything in their power to keep their kids on the right side of the line. But sometimes the line bends. By the age of 12, Thomas had already crossed it. Wanting to be cool, he found out what cool really was in his neighborhood. Not varsity jackets or record collections, but shooting galleries, dark, abandoned areas where junkies leaned against the walls trying to quiet the beast of heroin. For Thomas, it wasn't peer pressure so much as a dare to himself. Cool was sticking a needle in your arm, and he signed up fast. Still, the body didn't lie. Thomas was a natural athlete, lean, explosive, with the kind of legs that could have carried him in track or basketball. But the discipline never matched the talent. By 10th grade, he was kicked out of school, fully immersed in the drug scene.
It led from 1 penny cap to 2 to 5 to $10 to 15 to 20, and then it led from mixed jive, from a mixture of quinine and heroin to just raw heroin.
There was an attempt at methadone treatment, a 3-month chemical truce that only left him 15 pounds lighter and angrier. It was worse than the heroin, Thomas said. By the time he neared 20, Thomas knew he was running out of road. The only diploma he managed was a GED, but he did marry his junior high school sweetheart, Kathy.
Well, he was a little crazy at the time, he had a lot of problems, but for some reason, I just kind of took to him, and, he took to me, and that was the beginning of it, and from that point on, we were steady companions from that point on. It was a long haul with Pinky because I wasn't into drugs. At the time, I knew that he was messing around, but I wasn't into drugs.
If there was a turning point in his story, she might have been it. Kathy joined the Army, pulled Thomas out of Pontiac, and relocated him to Washington State. The move was supposed to save him. Instead, Thomas found out that heroin travels as fast as you do. Seattle had its own shooting galleries, its own dealers, and its own ghosts. Even as he punched a clock at a window factory for $2.35 an hour, the pool of the streets was always nearby. When Kathy's Army service ended and Thomas got laid off, the couple found themselves in a housing project in West Seattle. The old demons were waiting. And that's when a lie changed everything. Thomas told a man from the Seattle Parks and Rec Department that he was a professional fighter out of Detroit's famed Brewster's Gym, boasting a record of 15-0. That lie got him introduced to trainer Joe West, an old-school gym rat with a sharp eye. West told Thomas to hit the heavy bag. So Thomas did. Was he a southpaw? Orthodox? He didn't even know. He just swung with everything he had until his lungs betrayed him. Within minutes, he was doubled over a railing in the alley, puking his guts out. West laughed so hard he nearly collapsed. "Boy," he said, "you ain't never fought before, but come back tomorrow with some running shoes." Most guys would have walked away, tail tucked, never to return, but humiliation can be a hell of a motivator. Thomas showed up the next day, not as a fraud this time, but as a student. I told Joe to teach me the fundamentals, Thomas said. I'd do the rest. Thomas's amateur career began with a thud, a loss in his very first bout. But he didn't sulk. He sprinted forward. 2 months later, he stepped into the Tacoma Golden Gloves with a busted jaw from sparring. He went out and won 2 fights anyway. It wasn't pretty, but it was gutsy. Even as a raw beginner, Thomas carried a vision, and it wasn't small. I'll be fighting for the heavyweight title in a year, he told Joe West, his grizzled trainer. West laughed so hard he nearly fell out of his chair. The potential was there, sure, but a year? That wasn't ambition, that was delusion. Still, Thomas clung to the fantasy like an extra mouthpiece. He turned pro in August of 1978 in Seattle, signing with Roland Jankelson, a real estate developer and former minority owner of the Portland Trail Blazers. Jankelson's money got Thomas started, and under West and assistant Jack Stafford, Thomas sharpened his game, sparring with contenders like Ibar Arrington and Boone Kirkman. By late 1979, the honeymoon had soured. After Thomas pulled out of a fight, Jankelson slapped him with a civil breach of contract suit. The Washington State Athletic Commission suspended him, and Thomas spent nearly a year fighting in court instead of in the ring. They eventually patched things up, but it didn't last. Thomas found himself stuck in circus bouts, like the night his opponent collapsed by barely being hit, and watched as Jankelson quietly bumped up his managerial percentage. Worse, his manager's inexperience started steering Thomas toward disaster. He pushed for fights with grizzled veterans like Jimmy Young and Ron Lyle, matchups that could have ended Thomas's career before it started. Even West, normally unflappable, was furious he hadn't been consulted. Looking for daylight, Thomas bolted from Jankelson and signed with Fred Core, a numbers runner with underworld ties. Core's masterstroke? Shipped Thomas east. By sheer dumb luck, Thomas was in an Atlantic City casino at 3 a.m. when the loudspeaker paged his name. Tex Cobb had pulled out of an HBO showcase featuring young heavyweights, and they needed a replacement. Thomas said yes on the spot. Hours later, he stopped his opponent on national television. Just like that, Thomas was no longer just another heavyweight. He was one of Ring Magazine's prospects of the month. But 3 years into his pro career, he hit a wall. In August of 1980, against Jerry Williams, Thomas fought dehydrated and underfed, courtesy of Bobby McQuillard, a trainer hired by Core, who seemed more interested in sabotage than success. Thomas broke both hands, suffered a nasty cut over his right eye, and staggered through the last 3 rounds. Critics say he dogged it, questioning his heart. The truth was uglier. He'd been starved by his own team, weakened, and was fighting just to stay upright. That was the breaking point. Thomas knew he needed more than backroom hustlers and businessmen with no boxing sense. He packed up and moved to Philadelphia, where gyms were Shark Tanks and reputations were built on blood and bruises. At Joe Frazier's gym, he came under the wing of George Benson, one of the finest trainers the sport has ever produced. Philly fighters didn't run and dance. They stood their ground, banged inside, and countered like assassins. I was like a minnow jumping into a pool of sharks, Thomas said. These Philly guys knew how to fight inside. Slip, counter, slide, dig to the body. I just had to learn or drown. It was the best education I ever got. After stopping Jerry Williams in their 3rd fight, Thomas's name began to creep into the conversations that mattered. Whispers circled about a matchup with Jerry Cooney, the popular contender who filled arenas with his left hook. Instead, Thomas found opportunity in chaos. Tim Witherspoon pulled out of a scheduled fight with James Quick Tillis, and Thomas stepped in as the last-minute replacement. Tillis wasn't a soft touch. Ranked 6th in the world and fresh off an unsuccessful challenge of Mike Weaver's WBA title, he was expected to handle the newcomer, but Thomas's jab found a home, his composure never cracked, and he showed he belonged with the division's best.
And here in the 7th round, Pinklon Thomas working the body of Tillis, comes upstairs with a right hand. Quick Tillett. Is he a fiery competitor? Is he strong enough to be a contender? He comes out southpaw on Pinklon Thomas, and he scores with a left hand. Another left hand by James Quick Tillett. Takes a right hand from Thomas. Let's see if the ploy works. Thomas with a hard jab. Another one. The right hand was short. A big right hand by Thomas. And now Tillett's back to the lefty style. Takes a left hand that turns it sideways. Takes another left hook. Yet another left hand from Thomas. I've got Pinklon Thomas ahead on my card through 7 rounds. And he just smacked Tillett with another left hand. Takes a right hand. Tillett is taking again. Driven back by a right hand.
Momentum carried him into the ring with Harry Coetzee, the heavy-handed South African who sat atop the contender list. Thomas started slow, maybe too respectful of Coetzee's reputation, but finished strong, snapping the big man's head back with that piston jab. The decision came back a draw, a fair result. I should have started sooner, Thomas admitted. Even in a stalemate, his stock climbed. His name was now out there. The trouble was leverage. His promoter, Dan Duva, didn't have the juice to lure champions Larry Holmes or Michael Dokes, both locked into Don King's orbit, into the ring. So Thomas bided his time, fighting soft touches, staying busy but restless. Eventually, King came calling with an offer Thomas couldn't refuse. He broke with the Duvas and joined the man who controlled heavyweight boxing. A new trainer, Philly's Willard Barber, entered his corner, and soon Angelo Dundee, the maestro behind Ali and Leonard, signed on. King delivered a shot at Tim Witherspoon for the WBC heavyweight title. That night, Thomas's jab became gospel. From the opening bell, he claimed the center of the ring, pumping lefts like a metronome. Witherspoon looked lost, unable to time it, unable to stop it. By the final bell, the belt was his. Pinklon Thomas, the kid who had once lied his way into a Seattle gym, was heavyweight champion of the world. The celebration was short-lived. He left the ring with more than a belt. He suffered a detached retina. Surgery sidelined him for 10 months. When he came back, it wasn't for a tune-up. It was Mike Weaver, the rugged former WBA champion.
So what's left then is to decide this issue once and for all. Hercules is Mike Weaver's nickname. You look at Pinklon Thomas, and he is sartorial splendor. I don't guess you buy those pink shoes off the shelf, huh, Ray?
Well, I think everyone is curious. Has been a notoriously slow starter in the past.
Round one. Let's see what Thomas brings to the dance and what Weaver does early.
Well, as I was stating earlier, people want to see whether or not Pinklon Thomas is going to stick to his game plan of trying to fight Weaver inside, which has a chance of being a big mistake because of the power of Mike Weaver.
Since Sonny Liston.
Now look at the left jab of Mike Weaver. The left jab of Mike Weaver is already busting the mouth of Pinklon Thomas up already.
Blood coming from the mouth of Pinklon Thomas, the champion, early on here. Start to choke on that, it could be a problem. Could also possibly indicate a jaw injury of some sort. It is a solid jab put out there by Pinklon Thomas.
And you can see the damage it's doing. It's a little abrasion over the left eye of Mike Weaver.
Very early on here. So there's blood from the mouth of Pinklon Thomas and a little abrasion along the eye of Mike Weaver. And we are just halfway through the first round.
A right hand. Good right hand by Mike Weaver.
Weaver backed Thomas up with that right hand. A lot of action early on here.
Well, Pinklon Thomas doing what he stated. He's not going to run. He's going to stand toe-to-toe. Believe it or not, the left jab of Thomas is quite, stronger than his right hand. Because he's a converted southpaw.
Came over with a right hand. That was a good shot. Backs Weaver up. And Thomas is right on Weaver. Weaver is down.
And Mike is hurt.
Mike Weaver is hurt without question. It took Thomas a little bit of time to get to a neutral corner. And now Padilla picks up the count. Weaver's still in trouble.
His legs are rubbery legs.
Weaver trying to come back. Let's see if Thomas doesn't go after him. He's got a great jab. And another big right hand.
Beautiful right hand.
Weaver's still in trouble against the ropes. He's got 12 seconds to get through. Another big right hand by Thomas. Thomas showing much more of the right hand than he has any other time we've seen him.
Yes, but about 2/3 of the way through that round, it caught up with him.
So we come to the second round. Have to go some to be more up-tempo than at first.
The reason Mike is being hammered by Pinklon Thomas is because he's a stationary target. He's standing directly in front of Thomas.
Pinklon Thomas fighting a much more up-tempo fight than I've seen him fight before. Oh, two good body shots by Weaver hurt Thomas.
Mike has to stop moving his head. And see, the jab of Pinklon is not pity-pat. It's a lot of power behind it. It has capability of busting you up. A consistent
and a thumb,
jab.
and Weaver yells at Carlos Padilla. Thumb to the left eye. And they are using a glove that is supposed to prevent that tonight. We'll talk a little bit more about that.
Well,
it has a webbing in it.
But the reason the webbing does not help because it's in the middle of the thumb and hand.
Weaver still being bothered by it, took an uppercut. And still bothers him.
They need to bring that attachment right there at the tip of the thumb.
Right hand a little bit short by Mike Weaver. 1 minute remaining. There's a left hand by Thomas.
What could be the case now? Due to that thumb.
Mike Weaver already has a mountain to climb to get back into this fight.
Not the first time. Of course, against Big John Tate, he was out of it. He was a loser until the last few ticks.
You can never count Mike Weaver out. He possessed that power throughout the fight.
And he has had some pretty good body shots against Pinklon Thomas in this fight.
Well, that's what they want him to continue to do, to work that body. And slow down some of the movement of Pinklon Thomas.
There was a right hand, a little bit of a glancing blow. A couple of open-handed punches by Weaver there.
Now this is when Mike Weaver needs to go to work. To the body.
Both men scoring heavily. Good left hand, two good left hands by Weaver.
He rocked.
And Thomas is hurt.
He rocked Pinklon just then.
Weaver definitely had the better of that. Don't be misled by the fact that Weaver was pushed off him into the ropes.
Close the glove, close the glove.
Crowd really into this fight now, and the crowd seems supportive of Weaver.
Beautiful right hand.
Another good left hand by Weaver. Stop Thomas in his tracks.
That's buckled Pinklon Thomas.
And there's a cut over the left eye of Pinklon Thomas.
Mike is starting to go to work now.
Let's watch that eye.
That looks like a very bad cut on Thomas's eye. But I can't be sure whether it's just a laceration or a deep cut. Angelo Dundee is working on it furiously.
Big round for Mike Weaver. This the fourth. The cut will be a factor. Two left jabs by Weaver. The cut is over the left eye. Right at the moment. And there's a big right hand by Weaver. Thomas is hurt again.
I just heard Mike Weaver's wife.
And another combination. There was some consternation between rounds. We'll try to find out exactly what happened. Ray Leonard is trying to find out just what happened. It was in the audience somewhere involving something with Mike Weaver's wife.
His wife, they say she collapsed.
We'll try to keep you posted. And blood starting to show above the left eye of Thomas. Listen to the crowd. Weaver, he has become the favorite here.
Pinklon Thomas being hit by those left hooks and right hand of Mike Weaver because he's moving back. And Angelo was telling Thomas not to back up.
to two pretty good-looking heavyweights here. And the jab of Weaver, very effective. That's not to take anything away from the one of Thomas. And again, the jab of Weaver in the face of Thomas.
This is a jabbing contest.
But I mean, they're strong jabs.
Mike looks prepared to throw a body shot the way he leans, because he digs it in.
Angelo wants him to work harder.
This is the 5th round. It's been a great fight so far.
Angelo wants Thomas to tie up that left hook, because that left hook of Mike Weaver has been landing. And it's nothing to play with.
Angelo telling Weaver he's fighting a bad fight.
Pinklon Thomas' jab is more consistent.
Good left hook. That hurt Pinklon Thomas.
You have to be impressed by anything without heavyweight division. Is their ability to take a punch.
There's a right hand by Thomas, but Weaver says no, it didn't harm me none. Two more jabs.
Very, very seldom you see this type of punches thrown.
That was a pawing left hand that time by Thomas. Did not have the sting that he had earlier.
A right hand would work beautiful against Pinklon Thomas, because what's that left hand? He keeps it down. It's just laying there.
It's all the way down by his thigh.
Reminds you of Thomas Hearns. But Hearns is faster, a lot faster. Mike looks so tired.
He does look tired. I was just going to say, right at the moment, Pinklon Thomas looks the freshest.
Body shot by Mike Weaver.
Good body shot. Takes the right hand. And Weaver right on top of Thomas again. Hammering Thomas. Tremendous pace in this fight.
Unbelievable.
Conditioning might tell in this fight. It's a terrific heavyweight fight right now.
6th round scheduled for 12.
There's a cut on the inside of Pinklon Thomas' left lip. Lower lip, rather.
That was there almost from the opening bell, actually. Two good ones that time by Thomas. Two good ones coming back by Mike Weaver. And there's a couple more. They're just bothersome.
The left jab, it's a thing of beauty. And both of these guys are executing it so well. And it's very active.
Good left hook by Mike Weaver. Weaver continues to back up, but while he's doing so, he's throwing a very crisp jab. 7th round, still a long road to hoe here. Incidentally, what we were hearing there was only Pinklon Thomas's corner. We were not hearing Mike Weaver's corner. A little hard to tell sometimes with the audio in the corner that gets jumbled.
The right hand of Thomas started to get through.
They've done a great job, incidentally, on the cut of Pinklon Thomas. It has been no bother to him since it happened. Good right hand.
Mike appeared to have buckled him by the right hand.
Yes, he did. Took a full step back. There's a right hand by Weaver. And now Thomas holds on. Well, here's the first step to that answer. Thomas comes out quickly here, up on his toes early in this round. Thomas, just to the eye, seems to be the fresher at the moment.
Weaver's corner wants more body shots. And I think they're very good, very good instructions.
You can see Weaver visibly take a deep breath and blow it out.
Oh, yes. I mean, he's really tired. But he can make Thomas even tired by throwing body shots and slowing him down. What I see in Pinklon Thomas, he's throwing a few light punches, light jabs, and just waiting for Weaver to open up to drop the bomb. This has been a very tactical fight on the part of both fighters.
It's the 8th round, coming down toward the halfway mark. What a right hand by Pinklon Thomas, and I mean one of the great one-punch knockdowns and probably knockouts. This one, I believe, is going to be over. Let's see. It's over. It's all over. And I mean just like that. If there was ever a question about the right hand of Pinklon Thomas, it was answered right there, Ray.
Well, you know, I was saying earlier that he was throwing light jabs and waiting to drop the bomb. And he did just that. I didn't think, well, we all figured that Thomas didn't have a good right hand. But he showed people that a right hand do exist.
For many critics, that was the night Thomas crossed from champion to best heavyweight on the planet. Now he wanted the man who mattered most, Larry Holmes. But boxing politics can be crueler than punches. A fight with Holmes never materialized, and outside the ring, Thomas was slipping. His marriage to Kathy strained under the weight of fame, time away, and a secret addiction he couldn't shake. In Philadelphia, Thomas sometimes drifted into crack dens, hiding under the alias Tom West. As if boxing and drugs weren't enough, Thomas flirted with music. He took voice lessons and even recorded a single, Hanging On to Promises, hoping it would launch an album. But by 1986, the real stage was Don King's and HBO's Heavyweight World Series, a tournament to crown the undisputed king of the division. Thomas entered as champion, signed to defend against longtime contender Trevor Berbick. Oddsmakers had him a 7-1 favorite. But from the opening bell, something was wrong. Thomas looked sluggish, his timing dulled. Berbick, never flashy but aggressive, pressed forward, roughing him up. Berbick walked out with the belt. Thomas later blamed the performance on his divorce, admitting the turmoil left him unfocused and unable to prepare. Whatever the reason, the title was gone.
In the hour of separation that came between me and her, that I was able to sustain and get myself in order to be strong and bounce back, because it was part of a personal problem that indulged in the Berbick fight that taunted and haunted me.
7 months later, he was back, but against soft opposition, rebuilding without making waves. Then came the call that changed everything. A shot at Mike Tyson. A chance at redemption. A chance to reclaim the belt and silence doubters. Angelo Dundee, his voice of reason, urged caution. Don't take it, he said. Thomas wouldn't hear it. He believed his jab, his experience, his will could neutralize Tyson's fury. 8 weeks before the fight, disaster struck again. A sparring session left Thomas with an injured shoulder. Dundee begged to pull the plug. Thomas refused. After all the years, all the setbacks, all the nights in shooting galleries, and mornings of road work, this was another shot.
Will self-preservation kick in for Thomas, or will he come out trying to win this fight?
Took a deep breath before the opening bell. Not a bad idea against Mike Tyson.
Tyson is a 6-1 favorite.
Tyson starts out with the right hand.
Well, you notice there's a much more aggressive Mike Tyson than there was with Bone Crusher Smith. You notice that what happens inside here, we see some clinching. That's what exactly Bone Crusher Smith did. But inside, you may see that Mike Tyson still works. He still throws punches.
He's not giving Thomas a chance to unload that jab.
What Angelo Dundee wants Pinklon Thomas to do is give him angles. Don't stand directly in front of Mike Tyson, because you see here, Mike can throw punches from either angle and with a lot of power.
Yeah, Dundee said Tyson is a two-beat fighter. What he means by that is he comes in, he feigns left, he feigns right. There's a big left hand by Tyson, but Thomas is all right.
You know why Tyson's able to nail so many guys is because you see that it breaks your rhythm. The jab breaks the rhythm.
Another big left hand. Thomas is hurt.
We see more clinching here. And Tyson did not go to the body.
And another left hand. Rarely do you see Tyson throw only one punch.
Pinklon can't take too much.
Around, long way.
There's the uppercut.
And a big left hand right on the jaw of Pinklon Thomas. Thomas is in all kinds of trouble. Still 30 seconds to go in the round.
What's the uppercut?
It'll be all Thomas can do to get through this round. Seconds remaining, so he will get through this one. Brutal first round.
Well, Pinklon Thomas was true to his word. He came to fight. That was one of the most combative rounds that we've seen Tyson in.
But he's all right. Leave him the fuck alone.
Quiet, Angelo.
Leave him alone.
Pinky, look up at me.
Leave him alone. God damn it. Leave this fucking man alone. Jesus Christ. Get away from this man. No, you're nothing.
Well, Angelo has a tendency to get excited because I can see that's one about to overreact.
Well, Thomas did make something happen, I'll say that. It was the wrong something, though. Swelling and a bit of a cut under the left eye of Thomas. There's another left hand by Tyson.
Mike Tyson now is starting to jab Pinklon Thomas.
Well, Kevin Rooney told us that Tyson's jab was better than Thomas's. He said he knocked Alfonso Ratliff down with a jab.
Now see, Mike needs to work, whatever hand is free, he needs to work those little body shots. Mike is more so contented to stay there.
There's a good jab by Thomas. Counter punching right hand.
The jab sets you up for the right hand. That wasn't.
Be aggressive.
Trying to get Thomas to be the first one shooting the left hand. That was Angelo Gundy's instructions. Well, there it is. He has to be first, Larry, because he has to stop that rhythm of Mike Tyson.
And the other side of that.
No, he's butting the heck out of you. He's got dope, but nail him. But go first, go first. Don't lay in the clinches. I want you to go first out of everything, okay? Guy bumps getting desperate. He's trying to butt the heck out of you. You know what I mean? It's all right. I want you to go first with everything. If he comes jumping at you, go for him.
You're here, you understand? You're here. You got to do it. You understand me? Use the jab and use the goddamn.
Let's take a look at Pinklon Thomas's jab right here. We see what happens there. It just knocks you off balance, especially if it's a good stinging jab like Pinklon Thomas possessed. It keeps you out of rhythm. He hasn't shown much fear of Tyson.
Well, Thomas had said that Tyson has fought the C-class fighters and the B-class fighters, and now he's fighting an A-class fighter for the first time.
I was really expecting to see a lot of clinching from Pinklon Thomas because I think he picked something up from the Bone Crusher Smith fight. But he has to be a little busier than Bone Crusher.
Thomas said he looked at all the 15, or all a bit of a rhythm here, and I think really started to confuse Mike Tyson a little bit, right? He scored with that uppercut.
Pinklon Thomas, no question about it, has a great chin. But I don't think he wants to prove that too often.
Took a lot of punishment in the first round.
From what I see, Pinklon Thomas controlled that round.
Good combination by Kevin Rooney on Mike Tyson.
Well, Kevin Rooney wants to see more jabs from Mike Tyson.
And again, Pinklon Thomas is doing exactly what Angelo Dundee said. He is getting off first. He got off first that time with the right hand. And now the jab is effective. Blood under the left eye of Thomas. Not in a place you would think it would cause him a lot of trouble. Long left hand by Tyson. Thomas is just not letting Tyson rough him up like Tyson has been able to do at will against other opponents. And I think it's fair to say lesser opponents. Thomas is holding him a little bit.
I'm waiting to see Mike Tyson throw that bolo punch, kind of bolo, double right hand to the body and right hand to the head.
Go on to the fight here.
Now look, you gotta pick up the pace. I don't want you in the clinches. Spin him in the clinch. You're doing fine, but you're blowing it because you're laying in there. You're laying in there. I don't want you laying in there. I want you fighting this guy and boxing him. Put some pep into that left hook. You're hitting him with the hook off the jab.
You don't know it, Pink. Keep that jab right there. Keep that jab right there, man. Don't let him get a ball.
Something has happened to Pinklon Thomas's glove.
Yeah, we got tape.
And we wonder now what's happening here, whether he thinks Thomas is tired and he's done something. Remember the famous incident with the cut glove of Muhammad Ali when he fought Henry Cooper. You also remember early in this round that Mike Tyson commented to his corner that he thought Thomas was getting tired. So I'm just wondering whether Angelo is pulling something right here.
Well, in fact, it was as a result of the business with Ali and Cooper that they installed a rule, pardon me, I got the bad throat dog here, but that they installed a rule that you have to have another glove at ringside. So the Dundee rule may be biting Dundee here.
Because of that fight, because of the Ali Cooper. It seems that this glove was split, but we didn't see it. We haven't seen the glove, but we sure are seeing Pinklon Thomas getting some time. You know, Ray, usually the way Mike Tyson fights, and with his enormous presence, this Fort Tyson moving at you, it's like he has such strong music that the other guy dances to his music. But in this fight, Thomas is not dancing to his music. He's shutting the music off, and he's creating the tempo right now.
Well, Pinklon Thomas is starting to fight his fight and using the jab. And what actually he's doing, again, like I stated earlier, he's throwing Mike Tyson off. He's breaking Mike Tyson's rhythm. And Angelo told Thomas in the corner, don't stay in the clinches. Move away. Spin the guy off. See, Angelo doesn't want Pinklon Thomas here because he's afraid of a headbutt. He wants Thomas to spin this man off, get back on his bicycle, but not move too much, and use the jab.
This is the 6th round. We're going 12.
To impress the public, I mean, he thinks it's an obligation. He has to understand the key to winning is do it your way.
There was a big uppercut by Tyson.
And the way he's doing his way now, but he has to forget about the crowd. Do it his way. And don't be embarrassed by his performances. Or a certain performance.
And a left hand, and that staggered Thomas. And a right hand behind it. Thomas in trouble again. And now Tyson moves in for the kill. 2 uppercuts and a left hand. Thomas trying to hold on. Serious trouble. And down he goes. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's over. It is over. Thomas did not make it by the count of 10.
You heard in the corner before that round, Kevin Rooney saying, start throwing punches with mean intentions. In effect, he was saying, can those jabs I've been telling you to throw for the first 5 rounds and start throwing some real punches.
After the bout, Thomas left his Los Angeles condo and drifted into South Central, disappearing for 3 days inside a crack house. It wouldn't be the last time. After a year and a half out of the ring, he was summoned as fodder for the next big thing, Evander Holyfield. But the fighter who once jabbed his way to the heavyweight crown was gone. In his place stood a shadow. By the 4th round, Holyfield's right hand snapped Thomas into the ropes, and you could see it. The will leaving him, the body sagging like a bull waiting for the matador's final thrust. The fight wasn't just a loss, it was a surrender, and afterward, Thomas surrendered again to the same demons that had haunted him since he was 12. Now back in Miami, he stuffed his pockets with cash and vanished into another binge. "I was smoking cocaine," Thomas would say later. "I was drinking alcohol. You name it, I did it." When the haze lifted, so did the shame. He called Angelo Dundee, his old trainer, the man who had steadied him through so many storms. Dundee's reply was as cutting as any uppercut. "Forget my number, forget me, forget where I stay." That hurt Thomas worse than Holyfield. The crack pipe couldn't numb it. So Thomas went back home to Pontiac, checking into a clinic under the alias Tom West, the same name he'd once used to score heroin in back alleys. A month later, he walked out clean, but boxing had a way of pulling him back even when he wasn't ready. He returned, only to be beaten by Mike Hunter, then stopped by Riddick Bowe and Tommy Morrison. Once the hunter, Thomas was now the prey, just another name on the resume of tomorrow's stars. He retired again, not with a bang, but with a shrug. But like so many heavyweights before him, retirement didn't stick. He tried a George Foreman act, fighting every month, sometimes 4 times, padding the win column against fringe opposition. For a while it worked, 13 straight victories, a flicker of rebirth. Then came Pancho Carter. 7 rounds of left hooks battered him to the brink. By the time he staggered back to his corner, his trainer had to slide his feet out from under him to get him onto the stool. Moments later, Thomas was carried out on a stretcher. The diagnosis? Subdural hematoma, bleeding on the brain. He was lucky to be alive. He slept for 2 days before waking. When he did, he knew the fight game had finally taken enough. And yet the final act wasn't tragedy. It was transformation. Thomas hung up the gloves and began shaping others. He trained fighters like Fontaine Cabell and Antonio Tarver. He remarried. He found a pulpit and a rehab facility, reaching kids who had walked the same dark alleys he once had. In Orlando, he counseled teens, teaching them there was a way out. Even when prostate cancer came calling in 2014, Thomas fought back and beat it. Today, he pours himself into Project Pink, Pride in Neighborhood Kids, a program dedicated to helping at-risk youth find a path he nearly lost. Pinklon Thomas once fought for the heavyweight championship of the world. Now he fights for something greater. Lives, futures, second chances. Proof that the fight doesn't stop when the bell tolls for the last time. It only changes. And for Thomas, the fight goes on.